it shows is that the past 40 years of economic policy, bipartisan economic policy, have failed. I think a lot of people look at El Sayed or a lot of these other radical candidates and they say socialism's evil. They're right, socialism is evil, but we have to ask ourselves the question, why is socialism so appealing to a lot of people who, to your point, have lower assets, who don't have the same ownership, who went to universities and were sold a bill of goods? They got a lot of debt, but they didn't necessarily get the good jobs that came along with that high debt load. And I think our answer to that, and by the way, you've already seen a lot of it in the Trump administration, is number one, protect American manufacturing. The manufacturing economy is the foundation of the middle class. We see this in Europe, we saw it in the United States. Every country that sells its industrial base to the highest foreign bidder loses its middle class and sees socialism come on the back end. What I think is actually going to happen is these socialist candidates, they've caught the tail end of an economy that wasn't working for most Americans. Unfortunately for them, the Trump economy has made long-term investments in rebuilding that manufacturing base and making America energy independent and actually making it possible to own a home, to have a family, to build the real elements of middle-class life
The manufacturing numbers that came out this week were the trade deficit cut, exports up.
Yes, and that, by the way, Laura, 40 years of bad economic policy, you're not going to fix that in 18 months. But what you're seeing with the president is trillions of dollars in new investment, new factories being built, the manufacturing numbers are coming back in a big way. That is how you fight socialism, by actually giving people a middle-class opportunity.
Who's beating us in the G7?
Better.
Who's beating us in the G7?
Nobody is beating us.
How about Canada? How are they doing?
They're doing
so
terribly.
they want us to copy France, Canada, and other countries that are failing? How does that work?
Well, the way that it works, and this is exactly what El Sayed and these limousine socialists are actually selling to the American people, they're not promising you industry, they're not promising you good jobs, they're not promising self-sufficiency and a good industrial economy. What they're promising is redistribution. Again, we've seen this in Europe and in the United States. The idea that you can build real prosperity by just redistributing assets from one group to another group, that's not how you build real prosperity. You have to actually sustain the foundation of the economy. That is what the President of the United States has worked us towards for the past 18 months. It's going to continue to pay dividends. But I think, again, Laura, this is an important point. A lot of Americans look at this rising tide of socialism and say, how did we get here? We got here by 40 years of bipartisan leaders selling our industrial base to foreign countries, allowing low-wage immigrants to come in and compete with Americans for jobs, by destroying the foundation of the middle class. That's how you got socialism.